Alrighty, guys. So I'm going to have to kind of narrate some of this to try to fill in the gaps as best as possible, just so that you guys get the complete story with all the context. So, the morning of October 2, I went back out in the blind, and kind of the same thing happened as the day before on season opener. So I saw the non-typical and the two other bucks he was with the day before. They fed on those crabapple trees and continued to work that hillside right up around that fence and never came in range. The weather was a little bit gross and the winds were higher, so I didn't end up seeing the 9 pointer or the 7 or any of the other bucks. So that was pretty much it for October 2. So after those two sits, I kind of quickly put together that things were a little bit different this year on that hunting property than in years past. In years past, a lot of those deer would funnel down through that bottom right where my food plot was, but for whatever reason, they weren't doing that this year. Almost all the deer were staying up on that hillside and working right up around the fence and staying out of bow range. The closest they would come is about 65 yards, and I just didn't want to force that shot out of a close quarter blind. So the morning of October 4, I took my buddy out with me, and I put Luke up in the blind, kind of as my spotter, and I gave him the big camera, and then I went out on the ground and set up under some of those crabapple trees. I tried to get as much like ground cover as I could, but obviously that was tough. So I got out there just a little bit before it was started to get light, and right as I was getting set up, I heard a deer walking through the bottom, kind of from where a lot of those bucks were bedding. And I realized that, so I just kind of stopped getting set up. My legs were just at a little awkward angle. So I just stopped and paused for about 5 to 10 minutes. And it was still too dark to the point where I couldn't see him. I heard that it was within like 20 or 30 yards, but I couldn't see it. And so then after about 10 minutes, my legs were all cramped up, and I just decided to try to move my leg and get it out from under me. I think he heard me move my leg, and he just kind of took a couple bounds away. And as he bounded, I could see that it was one of the shooters. I think it was a non-typical. But then about an hour later, mid-morning, I had the third shooter, the weird 7. He came in. I actually never saw the buck, but Luke spotted him for a second and just got a little bit of footage of him super quick. He was only about 40 yards from where I was set up on the ground, but for whatever reason, he never came in, and we just have a little bit of footage from of that buck that morning. So that was all for October 4. Fast forward to October 6. I went back out there for an evening sit, set up in the blind one more time just because the wind wasn't right to try to get on the ground. And I ended up seeing a spike. He came right into the food plot and then walked through the bottom. And then I also saw the non-typical come through with about 30 minutes of light left. And go figure, he was right up along the fence, just where he had been the other two times that I saw him. So at this point, I was thinking, all right, something's got to change. I know what these deer are doing, and I just had to get creative with it. So I went on a little stroll and made a game plan for October 7. So I sat for about 2 more hours, but I didn't see anything else. So I climbed down, retrieved the part of my arrow that was broken off, brought it back, and reviewed the footage. And right away, I kind of noticed that it was just a little bit too high and it looked really bad. So reviewed the footage, slowed it down. It looked like I just hit him high, right above the lung. It looked like it was a combination of me just hitting him a little bit too high, and it did look like he ducked about an inch or two. It's hard to tell. I think it was more of me just misplacing my shot a little bit. It happened so fast. He came in so quick, and he was in such a rush that I think I just rushed a shot. I had ranged a lot of that opening, and most of it was 25-ish. So I think instinctively I just shot, like I drew back, and as I moved my bow over to get on him, it actually bumped the camera. You can see the camera like shake. And so that kind of flustered me. I had to make sure that I got my limbs out of the way of the camera. After calling a dog tracker and a bunch of my buddies, I was pretty confident that I had missed all the vitals on that deer and that he was going to be just fine. So I did my due diligence and tracked that deer as far as I could, but blood tapered out and there was nothing. I ended up keeping that trail camera up and I would see him again in a few days. So I have confirmation that hit was in fact non-lethal.
mishap here 2 or 3 days ago, whenever that was, with the big 9. I decided I was going to take that 7 if I got a chance. He has one pretty nice side, and then one side kind of a little stunted, but he came right in, put on a show, got a shot at 10 yards. Looks like I double lunged him, so let's go, baby. Really fired up. So I'll give you guys a quick update on how that all went down because it was a little chaotic. So the first time I saw this deer was actually right through this hole, right there. I saw him walk through that bottom. It's a little swamp, and then I lost sight of him through here. I flipped over here, turned the camera on really early, and then I didn't know if he was going to come out here, or sometimes they actually walk right here underneath me at about 5 yards. So I was kind of prepared for everything, just leaning way out of my saddle, keeping the tree in between us. And he ended up working right through there, worked around, fed on some of the like shrubs or whatever those are, some of that undergrowth, and then he got to right there, and he actually got stuck in the bush. You could see him like trying to rip his head through, and the whole bush was shaking. Then he stepped out right here, and I was already drawn. I drew while he was stuck in the bush. He steps out after about being drawn for 20 seconds, and I don't know if you can see my lighted knock right in there somewhere, but I had a really easy chip shot 15-yarder, and I think I absolutely smoked him. I watched the footage back, and it looks good. So yeah, I'm fired up. Yeah, I told you. That won't be a bad drag at all. A little high. He was right under me. Congrats. Thank you. This is number 3. This is that weird one. He's actually not that weird. I thought he was worse on this one side. Not bad at all. No. He's a big deer. I remember seeing him in the summer. He's looking oddly large. Yeah, he died right away. Why didn't he get 40 yards? No. I thought I saw him go down right here. So this is part 1 of 2. Hopefully we have a much bigger one to drag out here in a minute. Yeah, he was like 12 yards away. This is the one I was like on the board of shooting this summer. But after shooting that, hitting that one. Oh, he's dead. For sure. Just took him a sec to open up. I told you I smoked him. Look at that shot.
Nice job.
Beautiful ball.
I tell you what, see what they said. Look at, he stood right here before he died.
Hey. When they cut back like that?
Oh yeah.
My dad did the same thing last year.
Because he's running out of steam. He doesn't know where to go, so he's going to
I
try to
thought I
hide.
waxed him.
Good shot. You couldn't hit him any better.
Wait till you see his little dagger. He's cool.
Oh yeah, I see it already. Holy cow.
Yeah,
look at that
isn't he cool?
mass. That's a really cool deal. Hey, yeah, drag him out of the blood.
That's sweet.
That thing is awesome.
I can't believe you went that far. Never
Wow.
been tagged out with a bow before, let alone the same day.
Wow.
Thank you guys.
Yeah.
He kind of scared me. He was like
Oh, yeah.
pumping inconsistently. This is so cool though.
to open up.
Definitely not my biggest, but one of the coolest. Probably the coolest.
That's
Been
okay. What are you
watching.
coming in?
Vanessa, you know this is the one we filmed, right?
Mm-hmm.